Howdy doody everybody, I hope you're doing great. Today we're talking about Elden Ring, and this game does look spicy, and you know who's had their hands on it already? Your boy Arik. So we're here to talk about it and answer some of your questions. This morning I put out a tweet asking people if they wanted to know anything about Elden Ring, so we're going to answer some of those questions here. I've got some of my own questions to ask him about the game as well, and the first one being, did you enjoy the game?
I love this one so much. Like, this is now, I was already excited, but it's now become one of my most anticipated games for next year. I got so many Breath of the Wild vibes alongside Souls. Like, like, one of the best things in this game is when you just go from the tutorial room and you lift up the door and you walk out and you see the open world, the thing called the lands between, like the golden stuff, and then you just go anywhere. Like, you can, like, you are, and the nice thing is, you know, like sometimes in the typical open world tropes where it's like, yeah, we've got an open world, but you actually go around, there's not really anything there, it's just for the sake of openness. This is one of those ones where you are rewarded for exploring. Like, it is, you know, you go somewhere because you see something interesting and there is something there. So honestly, from an exploration point of view, this is so much fun.
That sounds good. I feel that was like basically the first question that somebody asked on my tweet as well. So Revan was asking, is every area like fully explorable or not?
So from the way that the network test is set up is that you have the open area, the fully sort of like, you know, outsidey area, and then you have the castle. The castle is more reminiscent of traditional Souls in that, like, it's still, you know, there's still pathways and still things to explore and stuff, but you know, that's more kind of a few funnel pathways and a few things like that, whereas of course you then have the more open area where you can kind of go anywhere. But also in the demo, because there's like limited access, they've kind of got Animus style walls that just like stop you from like exploring further. So I would imagine the way that the game is going to sort of set up is that I would imagine the lands between is probably going to be like this huge open vast hub that kind of connects like slightly more traditional setups. That's the feel I get from the game. But yeah, there's a lot of places to explore.
So the next question comes from Chaos Slayer, and it basically asks like, how has like the core combat like changed as well? I really want to know this one because I'm trying to figure out if it's a blend between like, if it's more Sekiro with like the posture meter and all of that stuff, or if it's more like traditional Dark Souls-y type stuff.
So yeah, so I mean, just to kind of caveat at the beginning, I'm not like a Souls veteran, so I don't know combat inside and out. That being said, I think it's kind of like a good blend between, because you have some of the freedom of movement because you've got the ability to jump like you can in Sekiro, so like you can kind of just jump and do like heavy attacks that will kind of break someone's stance and stuff. So it's not posture in the same way that it is in Sekiro. You won't like stab them and kind of have this kind of like big centerpiece around it, but at the same time you have that freedom of movement, which is nice. But I feel like it's this perfect blend because they've introduced some really really cool new mechanics. One of the best ones I think you'll really enjoy as well is like the weapon skill system. You get these things called Ashes of War where you can then equip them to your weapon. And to give you an example, like you start as the bloody wolf and he holds his sword up and lightning comes down. Or you can switch it to another one and he can summon like a spirit greatsword, so you see like the blue like greatsword just like emanating out his blade. And some of these are really, really cool, and some weapons they're baked in. Other weapons you can swap to them, like you can just interchange them and you don't like lose it or anything like that. So there's a lot of customization on that front, and it's kind of like, you know, like sometimes you play a melee class, you don't really have much access to magic because you haven't really done that. I kind of describe it as like magic for melee users. It's not just for melee users, anyone can use them. But it's like a really kind of cool new dynamic because then you have, you know, if you think about other layers, you have magic spells, you have spirit summons, you now have weapon skills. There's a lot of cool things. I feel like this is probably I would be willing to bet this is gonna be some of the most diverse builds in a Souls.
So that leads on to like my question though. Does that make the game like too easy? Like, did it feel easier than any other Souls games that you played? Because from the trailer, my like initial impression of that is just like giving all of this new tool sets or assets like for the players to use is a bit easier.
It's interesting because I definitely felt like there wasn't anything in the demo or the kind of closed network test that specifically gave me too much challenge. But at the same time, it's also very early in the game, so I feel like I'm still in tutorial flow, so I don't want to comment too much on difficulty specifically. But what I will say is with things like the weapon like abilities, if you use them, like they're powerful, they hit hard, but there's also a big wind up to use them, and a lot of the time when I tried to do it, I did get punished for it. So I feel like it's one of those things where you can't just go in and say, I'm going to spam this thing and the thing is dead. you're going to need to use that carefully. The spirit summons are the one thing that I'll be interested to see what they do, because in my time playing, I summoned the pack of wolves, and it often just kind of they didn't do a massive amount of damage, but they did distract the enemy quite a bit, and then they would chip away at the health. So I would find that a couple of enemies that killed me like straight away, the second I summoned my wolves, it kind of became a lot easier. So I wonder whether there's some tuning to be done there.
Yeah. So the next question comes from Monster Hunter Community Manager Jono, and he's asking, how does the AI and creature summons work? Is it charge-based items? Is it linked to spell casting and all that stuff? Which kind of leads on to what you were just talking about just then with the wolves and stuff like that. I've seen a little bit of the gameplay of the wolves, and they actually look pretty cool.
Yeah, so basically the way that works is that you can, I mean, I'm sure you can find them as well, but in the demo there's like 2 you can purchase from the vendor, and then there are these locations called rebirth monuments. Basically it's just like, if you are walking around the world and on the left side of your screen you see a little blue gravestone icon, it means you're near a monument, which means you can summon, and then they cost FP, which is like your mana in the game, and then even if they die and you replenish your like FP, there seems to be like a cooldown before you can use them again anyway, but they're not a single use item. Like once you've got them, you can summon them and you can use them again.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, that's kind of how it works. So you can't use them everywhere. There will be some dungeons you go into and like you're not near a monument, so you can't summon, and you've got to fight on your own.
Cool. The next question is kind of a funny one, because I don't know why Keith is asking this question, but he's asking, are there birds, and are birds confirmed for the game?
I actually don't know, because there's no I couldn't do any character creation in the demo because they give you presets, so I didn't see any. So I hope there better be.
No facial hair for you. So we had this question come up a lot as well, and I don't necessarily like play like Souls games like this, but co-op. So I now was asking this, Baron was asking this, a load of people were asking about co-op and like how it functions, if you can play through the whole game. You didn't get chances to really play much of it, but do you know how it like really functions?
Yeah, so I didn't get to play it, but I've spoken to Rurikan about it, and I had a chance to do it, and I've sort of seen some gameplay from him. So yeah, in a very similar sort of manner to like Dark Souls, you can kind of summon people in and they can sort of help you out. I get the impression you can play like a large chunk of the I can't categorically say if you can play the whole game, because what often happens is you'll get to like certain things, and sometimes once you defeated a boss, it'll then be like you're leaving the session kind of thing. So I feel like you'd probably have to re-invite people back in different times, but like it's very easy to join people using the kind of group password and stuff. But the nice thing is you can do like a lot of the open exploration, like you can kind of just go around the world and just do like random things together. It is worth noting, the one thing is you can't use your horse if you're playing co-op with someone, so you can't have 2 horses riding around the world, which is kind of a shame, but I guess they probably did it from like a balance point of view. The same thing applies to PvP. You can't be like doing horse jousting or anything like that. So yeah.
Someone was asking, can we switch between weapon arts and skills between the different weapons and stuff?
Yes, again, it's not every single weapon. Some weapons that are like unique have them baked in and like you can't touch them. But if you get some of the sort of more generic weapons like the Bastard Sword you get at the beginning of the game, that one you can swap the weapon skills out. And again, that same skill could be taken off the sword and put onto the axe, for example. So yeah, if you've got the kind of more cookie cutter weapons that you like buy and just upgrade as you go, they tend to allow that stuff. And it's also worth noting that weapon skills can be applied to weapons, to ranged weapons, and to shields. So if you really wanted to make the most of it, you could have 3 weapons which you could switch to in like your offhands. Like you have different shields and different range weapons. So there's a lot of potential.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Someone was asking, what type of cookies did you eat while playing Early Access Elden Ring?
I ate no cookies because I was so immersed in the game. I played for like 10 hours and time just vanished, and I ate no food.
You're a gym guy now. You're not allowed to eat cookies, right?
I'm allowed to. It's bulking season. It's bulking season.
It's bulking season. Mr. Special on Twitter was asking, how was the open world? Did it feel like Breath of the Wild?
It did, yeah. Honestly, like it genuinely is one of those ones where I feel like if they've got a good size. I mean, obviously, again, it was limited area. I couldn't explore everywhere, but it's the nice thing where, yeah, I would literally be walking around and be like, that looks interesting over there, and I would go there, and invariably there would be something there. It might be a boss, it might be just a giant enemy, it might be a catacombs which you go inside, then you fight a boss and you get an item. And yeah, I feel like there was no area that I went to where I was like, this looks interesting, and then I got there, I was like, oh, this was a waste of time. So yeah, 100%. Like exploring that world just feels exciting.
Nice. Shane was asking, is there a weapon upgrade system? Who is our blacksmith, basically?
Yeah, so I don't think it's like a fixed person. Basically, like I went into the open world, and near the beginning of the demo, there is a sort of derelict church. There's a vendor near there called Kale, and then right to the side of him, there is just an anvil, and you can just do the upgrade yourself.
Okay.
So yeah.
Cool. The bad bear dude asks, is there a dog and can you pet it? Can you pet a dog in any Souls game?
I don't actually know, but you've got spirit summon wolves. Does that count? You can't pet them, but they are your pets.
Nice. And someone just simply asks, parkour? Question mark?
I mean, you can jump, and you can jump up things, and the jumping definitely gives you the ability to climb on things that you previously wouldn't have been able to. So, I mean, it's not a smooth parkour system, but the jumping is definitely really cool.
And then someone just listed a bunch of questions, but I'm only going to pick out like one or two of them. Is there a weighted system to the gear? So do you get like heavier gear and like lighter gear that makes your character?
I do believe so, because I think that stuff is still in there. From everything that I equipped in the demo, I didn't have anything that put me into the heavier state. They do still seem to have the weights on them, but nothing I played. Also interesting fact that I think is I believe I learned from Rurokan, I think this is a new thing for Elden Ring, but it actually makes sense that your gear weight now scales on strength, whereas apparently it used to scale on something else. So obviously it makes sense, because if you're stronger, you can do that. And so that might be because for me, I spec into strength a lot of the time, and I put on iron armor.
Okay, cool. Is there a fast travel system?
Yes, yeah, there is. So once you have unlocked or visited any of the sites of grace, you can fast travel anytime. It's not like previous ones where you have to be at the site of grace to travel to another site of grace. You can just, provided you're not in combat or in a like area where you can't travel, like you can't do it from a catacombs, like inside a dungeon. But if you're in the open world, you can just pull up your map and say, I want to go here, and you're there.
Nice. So to just wrap it up, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I'm gonna ask you, like, what was your favorite boss, essentially?
Ooh, I feel like there's two. One of them wasn't actually a boss. One was just a giant creature. Like, you're walking around, there's a load of rocks, and very much like Shadow of the Colossus, this giant stone colossus just comes up out of the ground and he like wakes up. He's not particularly difficult. He's more just like a big enemy. But that was kind of a cool spectacle. As for the boss, I think it probably has to be I forgot his actual name, but there's like this little circle you have to like activate on the ground, and it teleports you into like an arena. You can't use your summons, and he gave me the most trouble. He moves like, he teleports around and moves like super fast, but that was a cool battle.
Oh yeah, that's it. If you have any more questions, then definitely put them down in the comment section. Maybe we can do a follow-up video on this, or maybe I'll get Alex to pop into the comments and just answer those for you. Obviously the closed network test will be on Friday, so if you did get an invite, you were lucky enough to get an invite, that's when you're going to be able to get your hands on it. But for now, the game looks enjoyable and looks super fun, so hopefully you guys like the video. I know Alex is enjoying the game a lot, so yeah, that's like a cool sign of it to come. Anyway guys, bye bye.
See ya.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget you can subscribe so you don't miss another video.